This video is brought to you by the FarmerKlein YouTube channel. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Hello everybody, welcome back to the Farming Simulator 22 Map First Impressions video. Today we're going to take a look at Pyskowice. But before that, this video is brought to you by Optimus and Lawrence Anderson. Thank you for being farm barons. It's a Pyskowice map. Thank you, Google Translate. Can be found over at the FarmingSimulator.com website or the in-game downloadable content menu. And as of the 1.0 release, this map is available for PC players only. Let me read you some of the description. Welcome to Pyskowice. Hello everyone, this map was created based on terrain from a real-life area, specifically from the town of Pyskowice. This map is also semi-fictional. This map includes one village, 146 fields, including 4 meadows, 2 designated spots to build your farm, 2 forests, alternate crop textures, multi-terrain angle, and that is why this is a PC-only map, the multi-terrain angle, Polish sowing terms, which means it has a custom growth schedule, road traffic, Polish license plates, compressed silage pit, and new terrain painting, so a couple new ground textures as well. And the map author hopes you have a successful gameplay. Let's go ahead and load into the map. We are going to use some mods we typically use when we take a look at maps. That is additional field info, additional game settings, field lease, field calculator, and precision farming. Now we're loading this map up in new farmer mode, but if you happen to be loading this map up in farm manager or start from scratch, you will find you do not own any land, and you also do not have any vehicles or machinery at the main spawn point. In all play modes, there is no farm pre-placed. In fact, even in new farmer mode, you do not own any land. Let's go ahead and take a look at the PDA itself. This is obviously a Polish map, given the way these fields are orientated. We do have all the standard crops available to us on the map. And if we go ahead and take a look at our lands area, you'll see that we do indeed do not have any land that is owned. Now, the description said that there were 2 areas that were buildable areas. Those are farmland ID 147 and 148. They're going to be costing $50,848 and $31,611 respectively. Farmland ID 255 is the main kind of town area, the village, the road networks, as well as a fair bit of the forestry that is to the southeast corner of the map and the fringes of the map. If you want to buy that, well, you're going to need to have $7.6 million. Let's go ahead and take a look at our farmland lease screen. This screen is going to show us all of the viable farmlands, how large those farmlands are, if those farmlands include any field or fields, what is included, then lastly, how much is that farmland going to cost us. As you can see from this listing, the field and farmland numbers are matching up 1 for 1, which is always good to see. It's going to ease the confusion when you're trying to match up fields and viable farmlands later on in your gameplay. We have quite the variety size of farmlands, also from anywhere from under 1/2 of a hectare all the way up to 8.89 hectares in size. Taking a look at our field calculator, this is going to show us the specific sizes of each particular field. But given the way these farmlands are laid out, I don't see the fields and the farmlands really varying too much in size from each other. But ultimately, you can come in here and kind of look for fields that you're trying to find if you are looking for fields of a specific size, and then go and figure out how much they are going to cost by, again, cross-referencing it with the farmland lease screen. Let's go ahead and take a look and see how the U.S. soil map is being applied to these fields. With a large amount of this map being dedicated to agriculture, you really do get a nice, clear picture of the U.S. soil map here. Take a look at our crop counter. You can see how the custom growth schedule is set up, and be sure, if you are playing with the growth schedule enabled, to reference this to make sure you're planting and harvesting your crops in the proper periods. And then taking a look down through our prices screen, you are going to see that while we do have the ability to sell most of our crops we do not have the ability to sell all of our crops. In fact, we are missing grapes as well as olives, and then also sugar beet cut, cotton, and sugar cane. If you're going to be growing any of those, because they all have growth schedules, they also all are available on the map, well, you're going to have to put your own sell point down. Speaking of putting your own sell point down, if you're also wanting to get rid of silage, well, you're going to have to do that as well. And then with respect to production, we do have the ability to sell most things, but again, fabric and clothes are excluded as far as sell points, as well as cereal. And then planks and furniture are also excluded as far as having sell points. So if you're looking to put down your own production, because this map does not have any production built in, then you will need to put your own sell point down as well if you're looking to produce any of those items. Now, we do have the ability to buy bulk lime, and we also do have the ability to sell our stones if we are playing with stones enabled. With respect to the Platinum expansion, we do not have the ability to sell any of the Platinum expansion production items. And then also, if you are playing with pumps and hoses enabled and you are making separated manure, well, you're going to have to put your own sell point down for that as well, because we do not have a way of getting rid of our separated manure. Taking a look at our vehicle overview screen, we have a modest list of vehicles at the start. They're all new. None of them are leased, and they all have 0 operating hours on them. We do not have any animal pens at the start. We also do not have any production chains at the start. And as I mentioned earlier, we do not have any production chains placed on the map at all. This map does include contracts, and this map also does not have any collectibles. Let's go ahead and take a look at our starting fleet. We start out with 3 medium tractors in the John Deere 4755 and 7810, as well as the Massey Ferguson 3670. We have our top liner Dutzfar 4090H harvester that is paired up with the 4090H grain header and header trailer. We have our 1986 pickup truck, as well as our DK115 trailer. We have the Rabe EG39 cultivator, and we round it all out with the Nordstein HK25 NS 3030 seeder and power harrow combination. This map also does not have any custom vehicles or implements included. Now, while we would typically kind of move on to the kind of farm tour, this map doesn't have any farms built out at all in any play mode. We also, as you can see, don't own any land in any play mode either. So with respect to that, if you wanted to maximize the amount of money you have, well, you might want to start out in Farm Manager, so you have $1.5 million. But then you'll also have to buy land and machinery. Or if you start out New Farmer, well, you're going to have to probably borrow a little bit of land or just do a ton of contracts in order to eventually have enough money to get some fields. Now, we have our main dealer kind of just up the street from our spawn point. We have our dealer trigger here, and let's go ahead and get our Mahindra so we can show you where your vehicles are going to spawn at, because they're not spawning here in the dealer yard. In addition, we do have a maintenance trigger here, but we do not have any lines or markers representing where the corners of that dealer trigger are located, and we have a sell point here as well. Now, as far as where do your vehicles and implements spawn at, well, they spawn over where all of your starting vehicles and implements are located. So let's just quickly run over there. Just over the hill. This is where all of our starting vehicles are going to spawn in at. And that's where we're going to find our Mahindra and all of our starting stuff. Now, it would be nice if this was kind of also an available building area. It couldn't be your vehicle spawn yard if it was an available building area. But the only available building areas are located, one right down the street from your vehicle spawn spot, right here. And then another one kind of up the hill and around the corner. Let's go ahead and check that one out. So here we have the other kind of buildable farm area. So maybe it's a little bit bigger. Let's go ahead and check out build mode. But let's first buy this farmland. 147 for $50,000. 148 is going to be $31,000. We have all our standard buildings. Nothing is custom. Also, we have all standard silos, silo extension containers, tools, and farmhouses. Under production, everything is also standard under factories, sell points, greenhouses, orchards, and generators. There's also no custom animals at all. But when we get over here to our landscaping, we are set up with some custom ground textures. Now, I'm going to first put down dirt. We'll say asphalt real quick. So we have animal mud, we have our asphalt, we have another form of asphalt, which is basically some lattice concrete, dirt, forest ground, grass, and gravel. That is the extent of our ground textures. Would be nice to see a lot more ground textures. We have seen those in some other maps where we have more of those. We've got our fairly standard plants, but we also do have some custom plants. We have meadow grass. We have conifer, daylily. We have grass dense mix. We have grass small, grass tall weed, long dry grass, rumex, small rumex, whitetail weed, and that is it. We have all standard trees as far as placeable trees go. So with respect to our scoring metric, right? With respect to can the farms be customizable? Well, you can't get much more customizable than the farms don't exist, and you have to build out your own farm. So we are going to be giving the map a full point with respect to that metric. With respect to production being built in or areas set aside for such, one could probably argue that with two buildable areas, one of those areas could be for production. I could see that, but overall, we're gonna give the map kind of a 0 there because there's just nothing really set aside other than these two buildable areas for production, and those buildable areas really aren't all that large to begin with. Given the amount of agriculture we have available, I think you're gonna probably want to have all of the buildable area that you can get in order to basically maximize your crop storage and your vehicle and implement storage. With respect to the ability to sell all of our basic crops, animal outputs, and production points, we're going to be giving the map 3/4 of a point there. There are some things that we are missing, but based on the number of field types, the number of field types that we are missing really is a small subset, and as such, we're only going to be taking off 1/4 of a point. Buildings where appropriate are using the new texturing technique as well as ground textures. Now, there's not a whole lot of buildings on this map. We've got a little village that we're driving through right now, and then that is pretty much it as far as buildings pre-placed here on the map. And most of these buildings are using newer texturing techniques. We're going to be giving the map 3/4 of a point there. We have our animal dealer. If we do happen to put down some animal pens, this is where we're going to come to deliver and sell our animals. We have a manure buy point. We have a milk sell point. We also have a grain sell point, sugar beet sell point, as well as potatoes. Then we have an area here to purchase slurry. And then the only other area on the map that really has anything worth taking a look at is just kind of down this side road, right beside where we started at. That's where we're going to find our bulk lime buy point, as well as our stone sell point. So here's where we started. We do have custom ground textures with respect to kind of field textures for our dirt. In addition, you will find that there are utility lines running through the fields. Those utility lines do have collisions, so you will need to avoid those, and your hired help will definitely be avoiding those. So here we have the sell point for our stones, and then we have a bulk lime buy point located right here. And that is the map. Other than the fact that we've got, you know, vast amount of fields. These fields can be easily merged together. We'll just kind of take this road here. The only thing separating most of these fields is some ground and grass textures. Occasionally there's some trees intermixed between those, but again, it's going to be fairly easy to clear those out. So if you do want to merge some of these fields together, I mean, you could probably merge and make some pretty massive fields given the size of all of these. Or you could do some, you know, Polish farming and work in these narrow little strips. So the last scoring metric, player and interactive areas being clearly marked. We're taking 1/4 of a point off because we did not have the dealer trigger at the main shop clearly indicated. So that's going to give this map a total score of 3.25 out of 5. Where did it lose the most points? Well, it lost a full point with respect to production being built in or designated building areas. And again, you could probably argue that some or both of those farm areas could also be for production as well. And that is pretty much where it lost most of its points. Had it had some production being built in, well, this could have easily been a 4.25 map. Now, I'd love to hear what your all's thoughts are also down in the comments below. Is this agricultural heavy type of a map something that you are looking forward to giving a go for yourself? Or are you maybe looking for a little bit more in the production and newer and modern things with respect to Farm Sim? Until next time, happy farming.